having a press briefing at the media center to communicate what cabinet has discussed today. So I hope they're not going to boycott. Should not, and they know we have been discussing. So they think by announcing this they will put pressure on the government. No, government does not work on pressure. So whichever concessions, whichever win-win or agreement we shall arrive at will not be because they are putting this kind of pressure.
Do you think others, because there are some insinuations to that?
No, it will stand, but depends on how you interpret the directive of the president. It doesn't, in our view, doesn't mean you have to shut out the private sector. And those are the details which we are working out, and they know. Okay. And they know. So it's not zero distance, but I don't think that would be the best way they should take, because if you want flex muscles with the government, I don't think that is the advisable. Exactly. In any case, I can as well say, if I have an advert to give, you want to force me to give it to you? But anyway, the private sector, they are ours. The government, UBC are ours, and we're working out modalities on how to make sure that the directive is implemented, but also the interests of NAB and the private sector are accommodated. So that discussion is on, and we have been engaging them.
But there are also these allegations that probably why they are also fighting so much is that these ministries, government departments have been getting kickbacks from these, public, private.
Well, that can be possible.
And that's why adverts haven't been coming to UBC, actually.
And the question for us have been saying, why are you, the government departments, denying UBC adverts? Because we are saying this is our own national broadcaster as government. We should support UBC, and we are going to support, because the subvention that UBC has been receiving from the government has been inadequate to finance the services here at UBC. And the president is concerned. He has instructed us to actually build the capacity of UBC to international standards. Actually, he challenged me, why don't you make UBC appear like CNN, like Al Jazeera, which is international? And we're working on that one. So one way of capitalizing UBC now is to have those adverts coming through UBC. He has also instructed that through the budget, we enhance the allocation to UBC. So that one, nobody will see. And we expect UBC also, in equal measure, to improve the quality of the service.
Oh, yes.
But that is not meant to cripple the private sector. That's the point we have been telling the NAB, that we shall go ahead and support UBC, but also we shall accommodate the interests of the private sector. For instance, the adverts from government may not be 100%. We can, for instance, say, government, you can give UBC and then any other media house. So you would have given UBC. Or the adverts there, this percentage, give UBC, this one, give. So we are discussing it, and then we shall make recommendation to the president. And so there is no need, in my view, for NAB to be a bit anxious, because we are discussing this internally, and then we shall meet the president, give him our recommendations along the way.
Thank you so much.
So it shouldn't be an issue which should cause a crisis when there is no crisis.
And those,
if you call it a storm, it's just a storm in a teacup.
And those of you who are watching, and you're from NAB, now you've got it from the minister himself, you don't have to worry, you will still get business. And finally, Honorable Minister, probably we have an idea how broadcasters are funded.
Yes, it varies from one place to another. There are those, say, like BBC, which are funded fully by the government through the national budget. Others, the funding is largely through adverts, like the model we are trying to bring in Uganda. So depending, the countries have different models. but a number of them fully fund through the budget.
Oh, okay.
But for us, because of the competing priorities, we may not be able for now to raise all the required resources, but at times we may not collect what you have estimated. That's why we think we enhance through the budget, but also we supplement by having that decisive step to direct the government agencies not to undermine UBC by giving adverts, and they pay for them. So in other words, when we are not as through which you will air the adverts.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And of course, hopefully the accounting officers are watching. Yes, it is your organization, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. However, yes, we have to work together. Give us some of that money. Don't think that things are going to be for free here at you.
Thank you very much, UBC, for hosting me to clarify a number of things. But again, to go to the issue of the democratization process, that the political persuasions, but we should all appreciate that we hold these political positions, whether you are in the ruling party or in the opposition, so that you are in that position so that Uganda can get better. So if by cooperating, that is the ruling party cooperating with opposition parties, that can push democracy forward. So why not? So those who are making the narrative that by an opposition party working closely with the ruling party, that it is wrong, then probably they're just pushing their own selfish interests, not interests of Ugandans. For us as NRM, we shall keep the doors open for any stakeholder, for any partner, even those who have been hostile to NRM. They are always welcome. That's why NRM went out of its way to discuss with Joseph Kony. And the discussions, I'm sure Ugandans appreciate that now the guns are silent and people in northern Uganda are now back into their homes. So for us, we welcome everybody. It's not about, it shouldn't be a do or die. And we are building this based on our history. We know where this country came from. So let's try to forge unity and work together as a country, even when our political beliefs may be different. What matters is how do we work together to improve the quality of life of Ugandans.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Chris Baryamusi, and that has been the Minister for ICT and National Guidance. And we've been talking about, different topics here. We've discussed, the ministries are returning money to the looked at. The welcoming of Mr. Norbert Mao to the NRM, and also we've looked at what has been going on as far as UBC getting the government adverts, and of course the minister has shared more later, and especially to the National Association of Broadcasters. You've had it, and you don't worry about anything. You'll also get the business. Thank you so much for having kept us company, and this brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight here. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Our next bulletin comes your way at 10 p.m. Do stay with us.